Hello, welcome to Camp Oklawaha in Sebastian, Florida. My name is Tom Pendergast, and at one time I was the property manager here at the camp. I said this is a beautiful piece of property, and I've been involved with this camp since 1992, and I'm one of the few people that have acquired a historical record of the camp. Most of it through dealing with people such as Bill Wagner and Bob Poisel, who actually were involved in the setup of the camp. So we're walking now down to the range that we have, the rifle range and the archery range that is used almost every weekend by Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. We have the trail that we're going down. The camp is full of trails like this, and it's a wonderful experience to just come out here with your boys and enjoy the facilities that we have here. This camp is 60 acres. It's small in some respects, but on the other hand, it's one of the last pieces of wilderness that we actually have here in Indian River. This property was owned by the Smith family, and in the early 1950s, I believe it was 1953, they gave this property to the Indian River Boy Scouts because the Smith family was heavily involved in scouting, and they donated 40 acres here to the Boy Scouts. And they donated the property next door to us, which is the Shiloh Youth Ranch. They donated that to them also. And Mrs. Smith actually did it in memory of her late husband. So this camp has been changed over the years, but it still keeps the wilderness aspect. And that's the best part about it, because there are really no big facilities or buildings here, as you will see. One of the things that we have just recently done is we have put these two shooting pavilions here. And while they're not set up today, this first one is used for archery, and the one down at the end is used for the BB range. For the Cub Scouts to shoot, they can shoot BB guns out here. So there is also, for those of you who know about the Order of the Arrow, there is an OA ring directly behind here. Do you want to go back there?
Yeah.
Okay. There is, and the Order of the Arrow is the Honor Camping Society of the Boy Scouts of America, and it is heavily involved in cheerful service. And there is they have an OA ring here where we do special ceremonies. I haven't been back here in a while, so I've got to figure where the trail is. You can see that, of course, we're right at the growing season right now, and we haven't had a chance to get in here and cut this. But this is used for special ceremonies for the Order of the Arrow, which is the Order of the Arrow ceremonies are based strongly upon the American Indians, and it's used exclusively by OA members, and this is only used for ceremonies. Not that it's a secret society or anything, it is not, but there are certain things that only arrowmen can attend. And there's another, this trail comes in from the other side over by the ranger's house. There is another ring here similar to this, just a little further back. They do ordeals, what they call the OA ordeal, which is a weekend of work and service to the camp. And this is where they have all the special ceremonies and that type of thing. Now, they have not had an ordeal here recently, and you know, in Florida, you know how quickly everything grows. So, but usually when we have an ordeal, we come in here and we cut all this stuff down. So,
did you used to camp here also as a? How long have you been in the area?
Well, I moved here in 1992, so I've been here 25 years. And I fell in love with the place the first day I got here, especially since it's right in the middle of civilization, but it's a wilderness. And there are absolutely nothing here to remind you of anything except that you're out in God's outdoors. We have wildlife here, perhaps while we're walking along you may see some gopher tortoises or something like that, but we have plenty of wildlife in here. We actually have a Florida panther on this property. It's very seldom seen, but there's one here.
And a bobcat too, right?
Oh yes, there's a number of bobcats, yeah. Wild turkeys, and until I came here I didn't know that turkeys could actually fly. But they roost in the trees down by the river, which I'll show you that area down there. But most of the information that I have about the camp, I know a lot about it since 1992, but most of what I know was acquired by people who were here at the time when this camp was originally built.
And how did you get into Scouts?
Oh, I was a Scout as a boy, and then I spent 10 years in the United States Navy. And then in 1967, the Boy Scouts came with the Weeblo program. And that was the first time a male could be a leader in the Cub Scouts. And it was designed to be a step into Boy Scouts. And so that's how I got recruited in 1967, 50 years ago this year. And I've been an active adult since then. In the Narragansett Council in Rhode Island, and then when I came down here, when I retired in 1992, I immediately got active in scouting, and it's the best possible thing going for young people, especially since we have all this wilderness. So let's go back out this way, and it may look rustic and that, but it's designed to be kept this way. Because when the boys come in here for their ceremonies, most of the time it's nighttime, and the new candidates have no idea where they are, and they come through here in the middle of the night, and it's quite effective. You see this wood pile here. Ranger Bill here has made a deal with some people who trim trees and clear land, that they would give us the wood, and so he splits it, and it's used for people in the campsites, so that they can have their own little campfires or cooking fires within the individual campsites. And we have, there are plans to put a couple of more things out here, outside of the actual shooting, and there's a thing that they have now. It's called a Gaga court, and I have no idea what it is, but it seems to be very, very popular with young people. And Ranger Bill is in the process of getting one built here. We have the only building we have on the property is the one over here, And that's where we store all the arrows and the bows and that type of thing. So it is a wilderness. So that you don't have to walk all the way out to the gate and come back in. This trail takes you to the main camp. And all of the maintenance on this camp is done by volunteers, mostly from Indian River District in the Scouts. But other people, when they come here, the Scout units that camp here, they're all expected to do a conservation project while they're here. And this little bridge here was built as part of a wood badge project. And for those who are not familiar with wood badge, it's a high state of training in the Boy Scouts, and you have to complete 5 items that benefit you and benefit scouting and benefit the boys. And so right here, they've just cleared this area out here because this goes over into some other campsites. And that road over there was too narrow to get some of the trailers and things that they need in, because everybody in Florida camps with a trailer. And so Bill has just widened that out. And usually right down around in here you see some gopher tortoises crossing the road. Or sometimes on a nice sunny day like this, you'll see a corn snake or a rat snake out here sunning in the sun. They're harmless, they won't hurt you. And the gopher tortoises are always nice to watch as they plop along. They are a protected species, as I think everybody knows. And this is just a sign that points to one of our campsites. All the campsites here have names. And we are almost ready to get into the main camp. And we just had, yesterday was our semi-annual conservation day that we have here at camp, where all people from the scouting movement come out here and they clear these trails and improve everything. And that's how we keep it up. As you notice, there are no telephone wires, no telephone poles, nothing like that in here. Now you see this fence. This is the only neighbor that we have. And at one time, this was the entrance to the camp. It was before I came here, but this was the entrance to this camp. It came in from the road that is just north of Shiloh. And there was the Fisher family, of which Mel Fisher, the treasure hunter, was a part of. They owned a big piece of, they owned 20 acres that had butted the camp. And they wanted this piece of property right over, we'll show you when we get down there. But they wanted that piece of property on the bend of the river, which was where the entrance to the camp was. And so they made a deal with the Indian River Scouts, and they swapped a couple of pieces of land, and the Boy Scouts gained 20 acres on the swap. So this property has just recently been sold again, and they have put up more fencing, but they are good neighbors, and we don't bother them, and they're happy to have us here as neighbors. This is another campsite right back in here. You may be able to see the very small pavilion in there. That's just basically a cooking pavilion, and this is Ojibwa, one of the nicest sites here. And we do not allow any vehicles in the camp while the scouts are here. That's a safety issue. And every scout has to walk in here. This little piece of property here is a handicapped parking lot for handicapped people only. And this is the only house that abuts us. It was this house over here. And on the other side of that, when we get down the other end, you'll see it, but they're in a beautiful spot on the river. And we are heading now into the main part of the camp. And this is the only part of the camp where there's any civilization. And this is the only pavilion that we have here. This is actually the only good-sized building. This building was built back in the 1950s. It was all done by volunteer help from the Scouts, and it has facilities here for restroom facilities for men and women, and there's a workshop in the back. We have shower facilities, and we also have hot water and everything here. So there is a little bit of civilization at it. And just so you can get a look at it here. This is really good because if you get a stretch where it's raining heavily, you can still run your programs here. And big Cub Scout packs, some that have boys, more than 100 boys, they love coming here mainly because of this facility. This facility needs a little work, and we would always accept a grant from some organization that would be willing to help us with this. This is a memorial to Claude Smith, who was the owner of the property. And it mentions that his wife donated this property to the Indian River Boy Scouts in memory of her husband. This was back in, the date may be on here, I think it was 1953. Yes, November 3rd of 1953. This camp was donated to the Indian River Boy Scouts. Now, over the years, it has been, this property, with the permission of the Smith family, was deeded over to the Gulf Stream Council. The Gulf Stream Council is the umbrella organization for all scouting activities in this area. And so it has worked out much better that way because the Indian River District was too small to maintain such a property like this. And people are always doing projects here. For example, the Scout Oath and the Scout Law, all these signs come up. So, and this is another shot of the pavilion. And I'll take you behind there, and we have a beautiful lake here, right down this road, but I'm going to take you the back way so you'll understand the whole concept of this. This lake is a man-made lake, and the interesting thing is these things were done 50 years ago, 60 years ago. And the people who established this camp had the vision of what this place would be like today. And they saw what, they made sure that they built this building. And the interesting thing they did, this is the boys' room if you want to take a fast look at it. I'll turn the light on. But it's kind of dark in here, but we have regular facilities. We have showers and everything. And you've got to keep in mind, when this place was established, it was strictly a boys' camp. But now, today, we have so many females in all the units that we have female facilities on the other side, and also another one down by the pond. Now, the lake that we have here is fed from an artesian well. And it's right over here. And it just shows you, it goes to show you the imagination that the people saw years ago. This is the artesian well. I don't know how many feet it goes down, but that is all piped underground, all over here, all the way down to the lake. And
They must have been engineers or something.
well, they were certainly people that had a vision of what success would be like, or what they, as we say in Woodbadge, what will your legacy be, and what will you leave behind? Well, this is what they left behind, and it's been modified and improved, but the wilderness still remains, and that's the most important thing. This is our amphitheater. You can see the gateway to it over here. And this is where we have ceremonies, camp shows, flag retirements, anything at all. We hold it down in this area. Now, at one time, not far from here, if you look through the trees, it's very hard to do. But this is where the bend of the river is. And when I first came here in 1992, much of this was open to the river. But they, over the years, we've allowed it to grow in because too many people coming by in boats decide that they want to stop in here. And this bridge here is made for the crossover ceremonies for the Webelos crossing over into Boy Scouts. There was a Cub Scout pack here from Palm Bay that had the ceremony here last night. So, okay, now, well, let's go back to the well. That's piped underneath here, and it comes out over here. And if you were with us now, you would smell the sulfur, because I think everybody knows that Florida is basically sulfur water when it's down underneath. It all comes out right here. And you can see the colored light green stuff, that's all sulfur that has been coming up, and white that comes out of the water. And as this goes out to the lake, it filters itself. And it's not very high now, that's the interesting thing. But, it filters itself out, and the water is absolutely clear when it gets out to the lake. This, just for the record, this water is tested by the state of Florida every month, once a month, and it is very clear and all safe for swimming and fishing and all of that. We're coming around to the back side of the lake, but you can see over in here how the water now has cleared itself. All the green is gone out of it. The sulfur is all settled out. For those of you who aren't into walking through the trails like this, there is a road that comes down here on the other side, which we'll see when we go back. And believe it or not, for such a small man-made pond, there is some real good-sized fish in here. And right over there is our beach, and a waterfront shelter, and we've got a float out here that the boys can swim out to, and we have over in the back you can see the canoes. We have canoe racks here so that the Cub Scouts can canoe in the lake. The Cub Scouts can't go out on the river, but the Boy Scouts can. And one of the issues we have right here now is all these reeds that are growing up, and they're starting to choke off the lake. And we have a project going on now to pull these all out of here. So it just happens that it's one of the things in Florida you have to keep on top of all the time. And maybe we'll see some fish here. I don't know. Usually there's a lot of fish around. I was here yesterday, and there was a Cub Scout pack fishing right over there, and they pulled in a few good-sized fish, believe it or not. Now the water, this pond is man-made, and you see right here this dam that goes all around it. They built that, and this is a spillway where we can adjust the level of the water in the lake. Bill has the level down right now because they've been pulling these reeds, and that's part of the project. But all we have to do is put in a couple extra boards in there. We can raise the level of the lake. So it's got a sandy bottom. If you can hear it, gurgling. There's where it comes out, and it goes right out over here to the lake, to the river. We are right on the directly. Oh, is that a turkey? I think it was.
Or a vulture.
Yeah, one of the other.
A turkey vulture.
Now this is our canoe launch, which is under renovation right now. The planks have all been taken off, and it's in the process of being replanked. But you can canoe from here right out to the Sebastian River. And this is a project we worked on yesterday. Was clearing a lot of this area. As you know, in Florida, you get overgrown pretty quickly if you don't stay on top of things. And right over here, right after this bridge, is the property that I spoke of that was swapped by the Fisher family. And this is what's called Ratman's Island. And while it is not actually an island, it's almost like one. And there were 20 acres out here that we gained when they made the land swap.
What year was that?
I think it was in the 60s. It was before I got here. Now, this has a trail that goes right out to the river, but for the sake of time, we'll go to the river this way. It's a little shorter. But this way is a gorgeous trail that goes out there. And you can get out on the river, you see tarpon, you see dolphins and all of that. Sometimes you'll see an alligator out that way. And but you can canoe right out here. This is another campsite which is called Paiute. And all the campsites here are wilderness sites. And it's designed that way. But we have just introduced the recycling program. So that's, like it says, no trash, because scouts are expected to take their trash out with them when they go. But anything can be recycled, they pop in there. Now, you don't have the view of the river here that I wanted you to see. But if you, well, here, take it. Okay. But this is one of the bends of the river, and the San Sebastian River. And from the other end over there, it's much more visible. But this goes all around, and it goes over to the. There's a spot over here that used to be an orange grove, which is now a nature preserve. I think the town of Sebastian owns it. But you can hear the boats going by.
See the boat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there it goes. And this is the North Fork of the Sebastian River, and it will take you right out to the Atlantic Ocean. It goes over the Sebastian Inlet, of course. And there is a trail over here that takes us over to the preserve, to the conservation area. And we're fortunate on that. There will never be anybody building on the other side of us. The important thing I'd like to point out is you can see how it's all wilderness. And right across the river from here is the San Sebastian Preserve. It's a state park, a state preserve. It's right across the river. And people may say, well, you know, there's no facilities in these campsites, and that's right. That's the way we want it. The only thing you'll find in there is picnic tables, and a few of them have small cooking provisions. when we get to the next area where we're going to go, I had a Boy Scout troop camping here once, and the Scoutmaster asked me if he could bring his wife out here. And I said, sure. And it turns out she is an artist, and she paints old Florida scenes. And when she saw all this, she said, there isn't much of this left. And so she came out here and painted an awful lot of things. Their name was Brown, and they were from Palm Beach Gardens. And like I said, this area was all overgrown, and all the volunteer scouts and adults cleared this all out yesterday, as well as some other work. Our plan is to get rid of these trailers and build a permanent boat rack here.
And I heard maybe 6 more were being added.
6 brand new ones are coming in this week that the Gulfstream Council is bringing in here. But when you look at this, the lake this way too, now normally the water is much higher, and I'm sure Bill dropped the level down to clear these reeds out. But it's a beautiful, safe area, and it's a good place to bring your Cub Scouts. You can swim, you can canoe, and the Boy Scouts can canoe out on the river. But the Cub Scouts are restricted to the lake. And that's the safety issue with the Boy Scouts. And it's nice that as heavily used as this camp is, it still has its rustic wilderness. I think the best thing for us to do is I'd like to take you into this road over here that has the oak cover over it, and we can come back here. This is a campsite called Navajo, and this is a trail that runs down the backside of the camp. But this is the part that the woman that was the artist, Mrs. Brown, this is the part that she was impressed with. This is how this is so much like old Florida. I'm surprised we haven't seen any wildlife. Point out the beauty of the place and the things that you can do taking your boys on nature hikes and that type of thing. And I'm surprised we haven't seen any wildlife, because today is, nobody's in the camp today. It's a Sunday afternoon, and that's when the wildlife comes out, when the boys aren't here. Generally, this is a wildlife area, and the wildlife don't like all the boys being around. But you can see that these reeds are becoming an awful menace here. And, so we will, at one time, when I was managing the camp, I had plans to put a walkway right out across there where the boys can fish off of there, because for some reason this corner of the lake has big fish in it. And this is just a pavilion where we have waterfront activities. We've got a shower over there and a lifeguard shower. And right behind here is, we can come through this way. This is a facility based mainly for women, but on the back side there's a small area just for boys. But this one has been turned over into the women. I don't think it's open, and I don't have my keys with me. I left them in my car. But this is Girl Scouts only, because they had some Girl Scouts camping here.
Oh.
But it's closed. But This building was donated by John Schlitt, the architect. And in Indian River, the Schlitt name is a pretty good sized name. It was a large family, and they were all very, very active in scouting. And over in here we have a campsite called Shoshone. And this here is our chapel. Let's go in from the other end. You'll get a better picture. And you can see in here, this one also has a small cooking pavilion. And the 12th point of the Scout law is a Scout is reverent. And so we have, every weekend we have services here that are non-denominational. Just that for a boy to understand that he has a duty to God. And this chapel itself was built by a man here who has since passed away, but he was a philanthropist in here named was Dick Post. He built the chapel. The beautiful podium was donated to us by Frank Iodice, who was a very active scouter. And so we have made it completely around the lake, and this is also the only site that has electricity on it, and the reason for that is if we have handicapped people. So we can, because many people have these CPACs and things today. So we have that, and we're going back up here now. We have made a complete loop around, with the amphitheater being over here on the left, and we're coming back to the pavilion. And then and this is the area where we have all of our patriotic exercises. And actually, all of the gatherings, when we gather the whole group together, they all gather here. And all of their materials, like water bottles and soda bottles and stuff like that, and they're all recycled. When there are vehicles in camp, which is very seldom, but this is strictly a one-way road, a one-way road in and a one-way road out. This is another site called Pawnee. And, again, you can see the openness of it. You can see the fire pit over here, where they can have their own campfires, and every site has this. And what this strange-looking thing is over here is where most scout units today carry all their gear in a trailer, and so this is so they can back the trailer in here and have all their equipment available to them while they're in the site. So we're taking the long way around, but actually it's only like a 5-minute walk from the parking lot in here. There's another one. This is in Kier, where you can see the fire pit in there. And Bill has just put these recycled bins in here, which is really a great addition. Bill is a great ranger for the camp. He maintains the property for the Gulf Stream Council. This is the only stop sign you'll see in camp, because this is the only two roads that intersect. And this takes us out to the parking lot. I'd like to go this way because there's some stuff on the back road over here I'd like to show you. But isn't it interesting that this is only 60 acres And here we've got all this everywhere, with all the tree cover, the scrub oak that's here. Now this camp is now owned and operated by the Gulfstream Council of the Boy Scouts of America. They are located in Palm Beach Gardens, and they cover all scouting activity from Sebastian to Boca Raton and out around Lake Okeechobee. So it's a giant geographic area, and this is one of 3 camping properties that Gulfstream Council owns. So when you come here, don't think that you're going to a KOA or anything like that. Another small pavilion put in here, and you can see they're not designed to get people out of the rain or anything like that. They're designed to really get the cooking going and all of that. When the troops come in, or the Cub Scout packs, they set up their own tents, and they usually set up their own dining flies, and they're all set in case of the weather. But you can see that there's plenty of room in here for overflow camping. Another trail, this trail runs over to the chapel. But there are all kinds of trails in this camp. And it's virtually impossible to get lost because it's only 60 acres.
Did you say you used to maintain this camp?
Yes, I did. About 5 or 6 years ago, the Gulfstream Council asked us in the district, if we would operate and maintain the camp on a volunteer basis. And we agreed to do that, and we operated it. Chris Nunn started out being the manager here, and I took over after him. And then that's when Bill Molnar, who was part of our volunteer group, but he became available, and the Gulfstream Council decided to put another full-time ranger here. Because the main reason for it is that it's a nice piece of property, but you really have to have somebody on scene all the time. And I know you're going to say, gee, I don't want to walk like that when I get in the camp. You know, where's the bus and all of that. But actually, we've been walking now for maybe 10 minutes, but you don't have to walk all over the camp all the time. And there's another trail that this cuts in from the Erie campsite in the woods. And all these things, they get overgrown, and so twice a year, all the volunteers come out here and we just clear everything back.
So what was your most memorable experience here?
Well, my most memorable experience, there's been a lot of them, but this area here I think is the most memorable for me, because this is an area called Gilwell. For those of us who are wood badge trained people, we all the first wood badge course was held in England at a place called Gilwell Field, and so every Boy Scout camp has a place that's dedicated to the principles of Baden-Powell, and this was built when I was the course director. And I was the course director in 2011, and we built this site in here just for holding wood badge ceremonies. And you can see it's a little overgrown here now too, but it'll get knocked down. But it looks like we could use a little work out here. But overall, it's still a nice thing when you've got 70 or 80 people all adults at one time here for a specific reason. It kind of inspires them to come here. And of course, that's what it's designed to do. And this was all built by volunteers. And coming right in over here, and also over here, it's what's called the Beaver Trail. And there should be a pot over here where they come in.
Real beavers?
Well, it was built by beavers. This is the Beaver Trail. It runs from the main outgoing road in the camp right over directly over here to Gilwell. The reason it's called the Beaver Trail is that it was built by the Beaver Patrol of the course after mine, and Laurie Beckett was the troop guide for that patrol, and so this is called. It was built by Beckett's beavers.
But not the animal beavers.
Not the animal beaver.
Okay.
No, wood badge beaver.
Okay.
I should explain that. Wood badge, in wood badge training, people are put into patrols much as they are in Boy Scout troops. And they operate as small patrol units. And we are allowed to have 8 patrols with 8 different names. And the beavers, the bobwhites, the owls, the eagles, the foxes, the owl, and the bears, and the antelopes, and the buffaloes. They're not quite in that order, but I'm having a little memory lapse here. But I happen to be a bear. Susan is a buffalo. It's funny how the camaraderie that exists is that we all know who everybody is, what critter they are. And we are coming back out now. We have made a complete circle around the camp. And in between this is the outgoing road and the incoming road. Between there are a lot of campsites in between. And we are coming up right now to the house where Ranger Bill lives. And I was fortunate enough to have a part in building this house. Up until that time, the ranger lived in a trailer down by the pavilion, and this house was designed again by John Schlitt, the architect. And one of my wood badge ticket items was to draw up the construction schedule for this building. So this building's been here since 1994, and it's a regular, fully equipped house and office for the camp. And Bill lives here full time. And this is just the welcome shelter where people, when they come in, just another thing, all these signs here were made by a man named Steve Weber, and he has his wood badge totem on it. Yeah. This is you may want to take a shot of that soon. That's a map of the camp itself. So where we went, we came in here and we went out to the range, and then we cut over to the Claude Smith Road. We came over here to where the pavilion is, went out around the lake and out here, and then came back and we came out this road here. So this is where we are right now. And you can see all of the campsites that are in the camp, and they are used. So, and that's the San Sebastian River over here, and this is where the house that we showed you is, right here. That used to be the entrance to the camp years ago, but this goes down, there's a big pocket here, and then the river goes out around. And our spot, Ratman's Island, is right here. And Paiute, we went by Paiute. So this is where the river loops around and comes back this way. So it's really a wonderful piece of property, and it's a tribute to the Scouters in Indian River and also to the Gulf Stream Council that we have been able to maintain this property in its original state for the most part. And here. Now we're coming up to the ranger's house. And if I can get him to turn around, I want to introduce you to the ranger here. This is Bill Molnar, and Bill is the ranger of the camp. He's full-time here. He maintains the property, and he keeps track of everybody that's here. Bill, would you tell us a little bit about what you do here? And
part of my duties is making sure the campers are safe, keeping the roadways open, the property in working order.
Building all the directional signs.
Yeah, making signs, trimming campsites back, putting in new trails, keeping the existing trails open.
Doing some landscaping.
Yeah, that's all personal use.
But Bill is here full time, and he maintains the property, and he's probably Steve Steinmetz is probably the best known person in Gulfstream Council, but Bill is probably the second best known. The rangers of the camp are always known by everybody, and they're well liked and well respected. So, and you can see, as we pointed out, we've got the 60 acres here, and Bill is responsible for the maintenance and the operation of it all. And actually, it's not too much of a problem with scouters, because the scout people really understand that we've got to keep the place clean, and we've got to keep things all spruced up and safe. As Bill said, first of all, the thing is to keep everybody safe.
That's the first priority.
Yeah. And you may see over here, you may see a dumpster. That dumpster is not for the people's use in the camp. It's basically for activities at the pavilion to get rid of the stuff that's generated in the camp. So everybody here is expected to carry out what they brought in, and that's in the true scouting tradition.
And if anyone wants to camp here as a unit, who would they contact?
They would actually contact the main office. All of our reservations are done online now. If they have any questions about the camp, they're more than welcome to call me. My number's listed on the website as well.
Gulfstream Council.
GulfstreamCouncil.org. Yes.
All right, any parting last words?
No, here we are. It's always a pleasure to come out here. I was out here yesterday, and I come out here today. Every time I come here, I'm always impressed by seeing something that's different.
Well, Tom would be the expert on the house, actually. It was here when I got here.
Yeah, I was involved in the construction of it, but as I said earlier, the plans were drawn up by John Schlitt, the architect. He donated all of his services, as he does for everything here at the camp. He's not as active today as he used to be because of his age, but this house was actually finished in 1994. And the small part that I played in it was that I had just finished constructing my home down in Vero Beach, and I had a construction schedule that I could lean on, and so I drew up the construction schedule for the house here. And it's been used by 3 or 4 people before Bill that were rangers here, and then of course we used it when we were volunteers running the camp. We used the house then too.
And do you also have another position in the council now, or what was your last position?
The only positions I hold in the council right now, I am a member of the training committee and the advancement committee. And those are I perform a lot of work for the council in training. With the University of Scouting, I've got that coming up, and I've got a few training sessions coming up too. But you know, I'm 84 years old now, and I'm trying to ease my schedule back a little bit. Although scouting is what keeps you going. Scouting keeps you young, and I would recommend it for anybody. The other thing I'd just like to mention is we have so many people here who were scouts as boys, and they certainly we can use your help in any capacity here in scouting. Merit badge counseling, working here at the camp, just enjoying the camaraderie that goes along with it. Yeah, we have a saying here that it's great to be a scouter in Indian River District, and it really is. When Ranger Bill was in Woodbadge, he's a member of the Bear Patrol, and his patrol has taken on a project here at the camp to build a waterfront campsite where they can build a sort of a canoe base at. And Bill, could you explain? You've got a couple of more sites going on out there on Ratman's Island?
Yeah, we're putting in a new hiking trail. Part of it will also coincide with a obstacle course for the boys. There's low-lying areas out there where it gets a little muddier, so we'll have rope swings that they'll be able to cross. It's going to actually skirt the water line during all Ratman's Island. We'll have 6 patrol-sized campsites out on the island, so they'll have to camp as patrols. As well as, to begin with, we'll have 5 or 6 areas where we're going to clear the brush away so the boys can actually fish the river from the property.
Wow. Is that what we're going to look at now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can show you. We can walk out there if you want, but some
go
of
ahead.
it's still pretty dense vegetation.
You and Susan ride in, and I'll hop in the back. I know it's
No.
it's
You
illegal.
drive. I'll hop in the back. I trust you.
I hope the ranger don't see us.
Yeah, I won't tell.
Bill keeps a machete here.
Now they're out. With the officer.
Oh, there's a choke on this one, yeah.
Yeah.
Frank Idice actually got this for us, too. You know Frank, don't you?
Oh, he got this?
Yeah, he got this donated from a... Frank knew everybody. He was never afraid to ask anybody for anything.
What did happen to Frank? I haven't seen or heard from Frank.
He has backed out of scouting. He hasn't quit, but have you?
Looks like it might happen.
We are. Don't get that. We are going the wrong way. But there's nobody in camp. This is where the beaver trail starts, right here. charge, you know.
Yeah.
She's a good gal. You know Amanda Pantone?
Yep.
Yeah, well, she's now in charge of all the camps.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, great gal.
Yeah.
She was my senior patrol leader. You may remember that.
I was in Woodbatch when she was
Yeah,
there.
I know you were. She was the senior patrol leader. This actually is one of the most beautiful spots on the property. I keep getting amazed that in 60 acres there are so many beautiful spots here.
What I always thought was interesting is how different they are. You've got one side of camp that's more of pines, and another side's oak, and another side's palms. and
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
So many different. Different areas.
Now this is the waterfront one, Bill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This will be the one large campsite where they can camp as a troop if they like. Won't be available for Cub Scouts because of the BSA rules on flowing water.
You can see it's all just been cleared out recently and starting to get improved, and you can't ask for a nicer
Right.
view here.
And the new trail we're putting in starts. It goes through there. We've only got we've got about a little over a half a mile of it done. So I don't think people understand what size Ratman Island is. It's a pretty decent chunk of property.
Yeah, I was led to believe that it was 20 acres.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Because
at
when they
all.
made this swap with the Fisher family, the camp gained 20 acres.
That
And
would not surprise me at
this
all.
is the cove here, which is absolutely gorgeous.
And you're saying they could put in kayaks or canoes?
Yep, they'll be able to. This site they'll be able to fish and canoe from, and then the other sites that are going all the way out to the point will also be able to launch canoes from and fish.
And there's over in back of us, there's a trail that runs out to the other end of the. That's why they call this an island. It actually is not an island, but it's
the
close
pe-
to being one.
Is it a peninsula?
Yeah, sort of. If you look at it on a topographical map, it kind of looks like it comes out and goes up and around and then back on in. So, but
You want to walk out there?
yeah, you want to walk out? Susan?
Sure.
She's a buffalo. She can handle it.
What a lot of these palm logs are going to be used for is carted out to the new sites.
Or like benches?
Just something the boys can sit on.
When we were over on the other side, Susan, that's where we were, was right over there, when we walked out the coyote. So this is where the canoe launch comes out from the camp.
That's back there. That's actually the river.
Oh, okay, but
Believe it or not, we own just under an acre right on the other side of the river.
yes, I've heard that.
Yep.
Amanda told me that, yeah.
Yeah, we you can only get there by canoe because it's. I always thought it was the St. Sebastian Preserve, but it'd be a really big spot to put a campsite out there. It's already cleared. It's underneath there's a whole palm canopy and
Yeah,
it's
and
all
they take the
shaded.
canoe over there. It sounds ideal.
What I always thought was neat out here is we're right on the cusp of being brackish water. We've had porpoises come this far up the river. We have gators. You can catch sheephead, bass, tarpon. Just anything that lives in water could be in there.
Well, we just had a good rain.
Yeah.
This is a great walk for Cub Scouts to come out here because they see so many things.
Isn't there a Halloween tradition on this trail? A Oklawaha?
Well, Oklawaha has, they have what's called a haunted trail. That's usually done in the main camp, but there are an awful lot of stories revolving Ratman's Island. And
Now, what is the legend of Ratman's Island?
the actual legend of it, I don't know, but it's based upon, most Boy Scout camps have a similar story. Where I came from in Rhode Island, the story was the Blaine brothers. And then they were men who had things that happened to them. They lived off in the wilderness, you know, and be careful because you could disappear and all of that. And these stories are just mainly designed to keep the kids in the camp at night so that they don't roam around. Yeah.
The story I hear a lot about out here is that there was a scout that didn't have a camp buddy with him and had got lost out on Ratman's Island. They couldn't find him, so he was raised by river rats, and he still lives out here. So that's what I've heard.
Well, that part I believe, huh?
Yeah.
That sounds good. But isn't this gorgeous here? We've got just a little ways to go. And
Next camping season, this is actually one of the spots that will be cleared out.
okay.
So the boys will be able to fish this area. There's the one on the point we're going to clean up, and then there's 3 others down the new trail.
Oh, something's out there.
Something good size, whatever it was. Might have been a gator on the bank.
Sure. Yeah, could have been.
Could very well been a gator.
This time of year, with it being cooler, you see turtles on the river all the time. Sitting on logs, sunning themselves.
Right at the end, over here. Yeah, you see fish just jumped out there, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah. Manatee also, right?
Manatees in here, yes. As Bill said, this is where the water becomes brackish and it's the, yeah. Did you get that one? That was good.
I think that is a manatee.
Is there one out there?
Well, something is surfacing and going under.
Wouldn't surprise me. They like, you'll even see them up against this bank chewing on the vegetation every now and then.
Oh. They chew this? No, not that long.
No. No, they'll come right up to the shore and chew on the grass and the seagrass.
That might have been what was over there that was up on the bank. Might have been a manatee.
And as you can see there, we can hear no cars.
Nothing. And the acreage that we own, Bill, on the other side of the river, is that here or over on the other side over there?
I think that could be a gator there. You just see his head, there's a little guy. See where that sandbar is?
Oh yeah, yep, right up by the bank, right?
Yep, right up by the bank. You can just see his head.
Let me see what I got.
The people around here knew
Yeah.
how many gators and what size
Yeah.
they were. Yep, that's one.
Yeah, there he is. He's looks like
Can you zoom in?
like
There's something.
I did. Well, I had a unit in November, I think was in, and they caught enough snapper out of that lagoon to feed the troop for the night.
Uh-huh.
So
The unit yesterday that was fishing there, they pulled out a fish about that size out of that small pond,
yeah.
small lake.
Oh, the one in camp?
In
Oh
camp,
yeah, yeah. We've got some decent sized
Yeah.
bass and other things in there.
But yeah, like as you said though, you don't hear any cars, you don't hear any airplanes, you don't hear anything. You're actually in the wilderness, and yet we're only 5 minutes from civilization.
Oh, it's amazing when you canoe. I canoe the river 2 or 3 times a week, and it's amazing being out there. You would never know that you were that, well, basically in the city of Sebastian. You'd have no clue.
Something's out there because something's chasing the fish. The guy just jumped up. Something's chasing him.
Yeah. Blue crab too. There's a lot of nice sized blue crab.
Is there in here?
When I set my traps, I usually pulling out a dozen, 18 of them at a time.
I remember somebody got one in the camp lake one time.
Yeah.
Blue crab. Yeah.
We had one. It was in the maintenance shed, about that big. It was the last year when we were getting all that rain,
Yeah.
and Kyle was giving me a hand cleaning it out, and we moved this box out of the way. Crab comes running out. I love it out here, though.
And this is where they would end up if they took the start at that bridge?
Yes. This trail ends here. Isn't it going to go around, Bill?
Yeah, yeah. The new trail that's going in will actually connect right here and keep skirting the water line all the way around, and then there's a couple small trails inside, so if you want to cut that trail short, because from beginning to end, the whole loop around will be just under a mile.
Yeah, that's outstanding. It would be great if we could develop a campsite over on the other side of the river, on the property that we own over there.
I think it'd be neat. I don't know how many would use it because you do have to canoe. You know, the only way anywhere over there, it's secluded. But yeah, it's a beautiful piece of property. It's not really big, but it's really nice.
And you said that's on an island?
No, it's on a little point. That whole area right across the river from us is all the St. Sebastian Preserve. So I always assumed that was all of their property, but there's from what I'm told, just under an acre that's ours, and it shows up on the aerial pictures that we have, or that Bob has, I should say.
This actually goes something like this.
This island we're on.
Yeah.
This peninsula.
Yeah, but it is actually a peninsula, but it's close enough to being called an island. Yeah. And we cross the bridge here, and we end up out here on that trail that we're just on, and where the canoe thing is going is over in here. So and they'll be able to come right out around here. And as Bill said, the trail is started already, going completely around. So there's a lot happening here.
Trying to bring more stuff in for the older boys.
Like a zip line across the pond.
I wish we could do zip.
Wasn't there also a monkey bridge over the fire or something?
No, that's
a pack that comes in for their crossover.
Yeah,
they
so
put a monkey
125.
bridge up.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, 125 from down in the Jupiter area, and they build a monkey bridge and they for the crossover for their.
Oh, they
wheels.
walk that to cross over?
Yeah.
Now there was back behind Shoshone. There was there used to be a bridge, the stream that connects the spring to the lake. There used to be a bridge back there that I'm hoping we've got the trail cleared again.
Yeah.
And I'd like to put one back up.
Yeah, that would be a great idea. Yeah, I remember when that bridge was there.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
It would.
Or remnants of it, anyhow.
The blueprints to the camp that I found underneath the shelving back in the maintenance area when I first started shows a floating canoe dock out here in the cove.
Yeah, well, I think that really,
Was that on the original plans?
That was part of the when they had the waterfront center over there where the house is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had canoe base and everything over there.
Okay.
Yeah, and they actually had a swimming beach. So, but of course that all went when the trade-off was we lost that, but we gained this. And, so.
Oh, once people can get out there with that new trail, that's a beautiful piece of property.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll probably be my favorite spot in camp.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And believe it or not, it's not all really dense like this. There's pretty nice sized areas that all we need to do is come in and prune up some of the palms, and it's putting firing in its
What's that
campsite.
floating out there? Is that a gator, Bill?
Oh, yeah. Over there.
On the
Right
other
over there?
side, that's a log.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been there for a while. That came down in the last storm we had. We do have three really large gators that I can almost guarantee you
In
will
the
be
river?
out there. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If the locals knew that they had gators that big, that close to their homes, they'd
How big?
freak out.
8 to 10?
Well, I named the one Wilma. She's probably my canoe's 14 feet, so she's probably about 12. I guess she's probably 12, a little bit over 12 foot. She's big.
So she knows you and she's friendly?
Yeah, I've never had any problem with her. Yeah, from what I understand, neither does anybody else.
I
She
hear they
sees you
like
coming,
popcorn.
she goes down and go by, and she'll come back up. The way the weather's been with the cool weather, every now and then the cooler days, she'll lay out in the sun just on the bank and just watch you go by. As long as you're quiet, she'll just sit there.
For the most part, they don't want anything to do with you, with people.
They want less to do with us than we want to do with them.
Yeah. But you mentioned the popcorn, Susan, and that's the problem.
People feeding them.
People feed alligators, yeah. Then they get to associate people with food.
That last little bugger I had in the lake last month, I fed him for a good 3 weeks before I ended up catching him.
Feeding him to try to catch him. Or
Oh
just,
yeah, baiting him. He was taking the bait off the trap.
Oh.
He's anywhere from about the first part of February until mid-May. The smaller gators will wander into camp and hang out in the lake because they're getting pushed out of their nests. So they're looking for a spot to call their own, but our lake isn't big enough to sustain anything much larger than 2 or 3 feet. And the state of Florida doesn't deem anything under 48 inches to be a threat to any humans. So, under 48 inches, we hunt, trap, and relocate any of them on the property. And over 48 inches, Florida mandates that you have to put them down.
The first time I was at this camp, they were Cub Scouts in the lake, and they were having some kind of a game out there, and somebody came over. Now, I came from Rhode Island, and John Taylor was the district chairman at the time, and he came from Massachusetts. And somebody came over and told us, they said, there's a gator in the lake. Well, our first thought is, get these kids out of here, you come on, because all we thought was the Tarzan movies where the alligators come after you. He was about 2.5 foot long, somewhere along that. It didn't bother anybody, and the kids weren't excited about it.
You can always tell the parents have come down from the north, because how many times I get told, there's a gator in the lake, it's at least 10 foot.
Yeah.
Just get that. Okay.
Okay. Well, this is the bridge. We're going back over it. We're going back to the main camp. And as we said before, the canoe launch is up this way, and this is the stream that goes out to the river where we just came from. In Florida, these bridges require constant maintenance. as you know, and that's why the other one is torn apart right now. It's in the process of being rebuilt. But you can look down. The water is absolutely pure, absolutely clean. And sometimes you see the blue crabs down in here. But the next idea, one of the next projects that Bill has, is to build an actual canoe rack over there. And so that everything will be in and out of the weather, and everything will be right here for what we need. Because as I said before, Boy Scouts, they're encouraged to go out on the river. And Cub Scouts, why they're restricted to the lake in the camp. And these are all safety issues in the Guide to Safe Scouting.
A lot of units recently, and I've already got some reservations for next year's. They'll come in on Friday, leave early Saturday morning, canoe out to the Spoil Islands, stay out there Saturday, and then head back late Sunday afternoon.
Oh.
So,
What months?
what months will they do that?
Yeah, what months are good to do that?
Pretty much any time.
Even over the summer?
I camp out on the Spoil Islands in the summer. With it being out in the center of the Indian River Lagoon, you get a pretty decent breeze, so, and they're shaded. A lot of Eagles. They had an article in the paper about all the Eagle Scout projects.
Mm-hmm.
It was a couple months ago that I read, but putting in picnic tables and grills and things like that out there.
Yeah, and speaking of the summer, there are some Boy Scout troops who like to do the whole week of summer camp here. They have a lot of freedom and can run their own programs. The Girl Scouts use this property quite a bit, and it's a wilderness, and you're a million miles from nowhere when you're in here, but you're only a mile from civilization. And so it's a great camp for all kinds of young people. As Bill was saying the other day, when we were talking yesterday, he said we hope to get a lot more use out of the Girl Scouts using this camp here.
Is that new?
No, the Girl Scouts have always used it, but it's mostly been the Girl Scouts from Indian River, and now they're branching out a little bit because they see this wonderful piece of property. Sometimes church groups come out here, Bill.
Yep.
They
We
come-
offer the last 2 years, St. Sebastian Catholic Church has had some renovation going on to where they hold their vacation Bible school in the summer. So we allow them to come out free of charge and use the property for the week to handle vacation Bible school.
Yeah.
They're doing that again this year.
Yeah, and it's not like the property is open for rental to anybody. That's not the case. It has to be authorized youth groups that adhere to the principles of scouting. And when you talk about church groups and Girl Scouts and things like that, well, they're in the same business that we're in, and that's developing youth. So.
They have also opened it to family camping for scouters.
Have they?
Yep. The way they have to do it is they have to get permission from their committee chair. The reservation goes in under their unit number, whether a pack or a troop. And as long as we're meeting the requirements, there has to be one adult, a minimum of one adult has to be a registered BSA member.
Yep.
They need to have their, all their trainings and everything, just as a unit would coming in, a pack or a troop.
Yeah.
But there wasn't anything in the guidelines that say how big a unit is, how many people have to go camping. So
A personal family
Well,
with a scout, or it doesn't have to have an adult leader, just a scout.
yeah, one of the adults has to be a BSA member.
Okay.
You need to have two adults, whether it is a family or not. But there again, you also do not have to actually have a scout, because we do have
Oh, scout
adult-
leaders.
Yeah, we have leaders that come out and camp for different events. So even if it's just the adults want to come out from the unit, they can do that as well. So encouraged everybody to use the property. I love it out here. And the more people that can experience it, the better.
Okay, that was great.
so that finishes up the tour of Camp Oklawaha. Beautiful Camp Oklawaha, as we always call it. And hope that we encourage more people to come here and use the property. As Bill said, you make the arrangements through the Gulf Stream Council, gulfstreamcouncil.org. It's not a problem. It's easy enough to do online. And when you walk in the gate, Bill will be the first guy to greet you and take care of you when you're in the camp.
Yeah, happy to do it. As the way I look at it is, as far as scouters go, this is your camp. I'm just here to help you with whatever you need and make sure the property's maintained while you're not here.
And what would they call you?
Typically they call me Ranger Bill.
Okay. Thank you both.
That's it. This videotape was made by Susan Kiefer, who is an active scouter, and she has been following me around while I describe the camp. And
my son is an Eagle Scout.
Yep, yes, Sam is an Eagle Scout.
Sam Kiefer, and I'm a Wood Badge Buffalo.
Yep. So it's one big family, one big happy family in scouting, and everybody's here, and we all enjoy one another, and the best friends I have ever made are the scouting people.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Family.
Beautiful piece of property.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Today is May 7th, 2017.